Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good morning, Radio Land. This is Open Money on Blog Talk Radio. I'm Ernie Jacob, and Michael Linton is just around the corner. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Ernie.
So, today we're going to talk about monetizing ourselves. And before we do, people should know that they can call in 646-716-9424. They can chat in and join the conversation, drop us a note, say hello, say goodbye, ask a question, and then we'll see what happens.
Yes, all conversations are welcome. This is a show about our opportunities, about what we can do in the face of the problems that conventional money leaves us with. So it's open to anybody. And if you have any thoughts about what's wrong with your world of money, then we may have an answer for you. We may have a lot of answers. In fact, today the main text of our discussion is, what will people do with open money? What will they do with community currencies? How many ways are there to do this? And since there's so many ways, there's got to be so many people. So if you're interested, check in, listen, join the chat, give us a call. Ernie and Michael are open for business and pleasure.
Yes, definitely. Business and pleasure, both are very good things. So this discussion today leads from the last one that we had on Wednesday. We're doing these shows 3 times a week now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Usually around 10 o'clock. Today we're a little bit later, but it doesn't matter because nobody's been listening anyway. But one day, people will.
This will be the room
about open money. Definitely.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Michael or Ernie, if you want to hear the down scoop, or is it the up scoop? Well, whatever. We've got it. We know all about open money. Now, we don't know much about the other stuff.
The scoop. It's the scoop. I don't think it's the up scoop. That's what you do when you pick up dog shit.
Oh well, definitely not our world. So today the subject is, how do people use open money? Well, you've got to remember, I'm sure you've studied this matter somewhat, what open money is, what a community currency is, and what a particular individual might do in any one of the networks to which they would consider themselves belonging. For instance, are you somebody who lives somewhere? You are? Well, then, that's somewhere you can have a community currency. Open money can apply to your neighborhood. It can apply to your town, your village, your city.
I caught you saying a community currency.
Well, right there. Oh, yes. A among many. A is the silent M, N, and Y. But to have one community currency is to have many, functionally.
That's the point. That's the point of open money.
Yes.
I mean,
it's true.
Any community, any network, any association.
Anywhere, any place, any reason, any...
Free money.
Free as in speech. Not free as in beer or lunch. This is money that is your measure of your activity in the world. It's about you. It's the dollars you earn in your local currencies, community currencies, network currencies, or the hours that you earn in them, or the recommendations you earn in them. Whatever you're earning and are potentially able to spend, recycle, recontribute within that network, it's your money. It's your state. How are you doing inside your world? Are you getting a good breath? Do you breathe in?
And how you acknowledge others.
And are thus seen by them. So it's a serious matter. It's not a little casual coupons on the side, totally anonymous, get rich quick, Ponzi scheme, any of these things. It's quite simply, you are who you are in your community, and it's a matter of some record, and that record is fundamentally monetizable. And fundamentally, it can be money. That's a little
talking about reputation.
Statement.
Reputation in your world, your money, your word. Is it good?
Yeah, if you build up a reputation that you give good value, and you like to spend your community money generously, you're going to be known as a guy who gives good value and is generous. How does that feel?
That feels good. I mean, people do want. I mean, I want to be generous, and I try to when I can. But not having much money, that's difficult, right? I mean, it's like I flip a coin to anybody I see that's got their hat out. A lot of people don't.
I'm one of those who very rarely does, and partly it's the embarrassment or the difficulty or various forms of social anxiety, but quite simply, it's also I really don't feel rich enough to give my money away. I need it too much. My head's already below water. If I give away some money to somebody else, I'm just getting deeper. That's the experience I have about shortage of cash. Quite familiar, I'm sure.
So, and this is, open money is a way that anybody can afford to acknowledge others simply because they have it.
Yeah, you can spend money when it's coming back. Most of us, the problem with spending money is it's not coming back. That's what it is. You write your name on a dollar bill and kiss it goodbye because it isn't coming back. And what you spend doesn't change by its mere economic process. What you spend doesn't increase the chances of money coming in your door. But community currencies, they do. So if I have a way of contributing in a way that doesn't impoverish me, that doesn't make me disabled. If I give you cash, $10, then I'm $10 less powerful, less capable, less fluid, less easygoing, because it's gone. I just don't have that capacity anymore. But with community currency, if I spend $10 on you, it's not gone, it's coming back. Or at least it's going to be out there in a space where if I make my effort to earn it, I'll get it. So I don't ever have to worry inside the community cycle about being poor. I have to pay attention to what it is that I give, how I present myself, how I charge for my time. I've got to respect all those issues, otherwise I'll get myself into a lot of trouble. I mean, basically, dollar's a dollar and my time's worth so many. That's sort of the way you got to look at it. Now, your time's probably worth more in most community currency systems than it is in the federal dollar or the federal pound, euro, yen, whatever it is. Because those are actually, for the majority of society, they're depressed values. We're scrambling for the carpenter's job, the work on the buses, the job in the shop, our step up the administrative ladder, our annual increment in the union rate, whatever it is. So we're all anxious to have the money, and we're all fundamentally competing. And what that competition means is that there's more losers than there are winners. And that's one of the things.
That's for sure.
Competitions aren't based on the idea of we all win. Competitions inherently mean somebody's winning, somebody's suffering, or
many
not
others
achieving as much as, or whatever. So there's the disparity between our general situation, here I talk for the general population, and those of us, and here I talk for the top 10% or so, who are well up on the money ladder and surely can't have any concerns about not having enough, not in any rational level. But you and I worry about not having enough. And so the competition is fierce, and so people are bid down. And some of the most important work in our community is totally unpaid, inadequately paid. Teachers, healthcare workers, at all levels, cleaning people, cleaning staff, maintenance. Like, how much maintenance is not being done in our community? Because people are too cheap to pay for it because they don't have the money. And so people have to bid down and start working for, $8 an hour under the table. I won't pay tax, you won't pay tax, that sort of thing. This is no way to value yourself. Now, in a community currency, we'd expect valuations for labor, for skills, for straight contribution of time and energy to be generally higher than the conventional market allows. So if you're a $20 an hour person in the cash world, you might be at 25 in your local community. And it's not that that's an inflated rate, it's rather that your $20 an hour is a suppressed rate. It's a squeezed rate. Your rate of contribution might well be 25. On the other hand, if in the world your rate of acceptance is in the hundreds of dollars an hour, like, I know, the super professionals, well, you may find that in this world it's more prudent to charge a bit less.
Did you find that with the original LET system?
Yeah, we did in due course.
Did people do that?
You see, the thing is, in a community currency, you spend what you earn. You recycle stuff. In a non-community currency, if you earn a bucket, you spend it somewhere else. That's what you do with it. It goes overseas. It goes into foreign investments. It doesn't go around the loop anymore. Forget that theory. So those who earn a lot are basically, yes, I wonder what. What was my point there, Ernie? You're going to pick me up a little here.
Were we distracted by the same person coming into the chat room? Because I was.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. There's somebody in the chat room. Well, that's great.
Yeah, no, well, I asked you about how people value, how valuation.
Oh, the valuation.
In the original LET systems, right? Mm-hmm. Did people, in fact, get more money, normal,
well, it was like
normal money?
Yeah, it's a bit like everybody's in a boom economy. Suppose you're in a totally booming economy, a booming sector of a booming economy. Then you live freely and generously in the sense that you've got plenty coming in and you're not worried about it and you're breathing easy. There was an experience in Ireland when the banks were closed, and for that reason they had to basically circulate checks amongst themselves as endorsed this check for $100, passed it to you, and then you would endorse it and pass it to somebody else. And those checks were, of course, quite uncertain materials, so they moved quickly. And in fact, the Irish economy moved very fast for a year because the banks were closed and everybody was having a great time. It was a booming economy that year. Very odd. Close the banks.
So the Irish monetized themselves?
Yes, on the fly. They basically, there was a bank strike and they couldn't clear checks between branches and different banks. So it was going to freeze the space up, and because not enough money would be coming back through the clearing sense, people couldn't draw money out of the banks. So basically the banks closed their doors because they couldn't maintain their own balances. And what happened was that people then figured, well, if you can't put a check in the bank, then you can pass it around and just keep signing it off. So people with good reputations in the community would have $100,000 perhaps of money. Well, maybe not that much. Some businesses, certainly. Some of the employers were paying their employees in a collection of denominated checks. So this would be from this brewery paying its workers in a bunch of 20-pound checks that were clearly of the brewers and were secured and some way and countersigned, and those became money. But because they were, let's move it, for one reason, there was an anxiety about them, so people passed them on fast, better to get the beer than the money, as it were. They had a great year, very, very active economy. Now,
so the money moved around the community a lot faster.
Yeah, there was a higher comfort and velocity in the money. If you recall the sort of things that Greenspan was saying in recent interviews on the Comedy Central thing or the Jon Stewart show, he was saying he had no idea what made the economy run. He had no idea. He'd been in it for 40 years. He was king of the heap, and he had no idea how to predict anything. But he knew that people were happy and people were sad, and people were eager and people were fearful. And if you could just work out why and how, then he'd be fine. That was what he said. And, why worry about it?
Are you saying you know how the economy works?
Oh, well, I know how an economy works. An economy works when the means of exchange allows the free giving and exchanging of goods and services, when things are equitable, when things are accessible. That's a good economy. When they're respectful of local resources and energies rather than exporting and exploiting. You know, when we have all these wonderful consumer goods here and foods and materials from other countries, do we know what actually happened to cause them to get here? And if we were accountable for the amount of environmental destruction that's involved in all these things, we'd be hopefully a lot more intelligent about what we were doing to the planet as a whole. So we've got to localize to some extent for just that reason, to become more conscious of the boundary affairs, the amount of energy that's flowing in and out of the community. I mean, technically energy, electrical energy, fuel energies, you know, the amount of garbage that's created, what are the material flows in and out. How much more cadmium and mercury do you have in your community now than you did yesterday? It would be very interesting to know those sort of issues.
And how much are we contributing to right now using these computers and Blog Talk computers?
My only hope on this.
What about Facebook and MySpace and Google and these online communities? I mean, which is also what we were going to talk about in terms of monetizing these networks, or how do they monetize themselves, the people?
Yes, we've. What we are happy about these days in our little world of open money development is that the long tail is with us. We are able to reach now through the miracles of modern technology to communicate with anybody who wants to communicate throughout the world to whatever depth. We could be talking with 43 people in Adelaide, southeastern Australia, right now, except that they're probably all in bed. Oh yes, they are. Just because click, bang, you're in, you're on. That's it. It's that easy now. Now, this is different from the way it's been for 20 years. Where you had to reach out, persuade, discuss, travel, connect, do all sorts of things to pass the meme. And now we're in a position where...
How about the conferences?
Oh, don't talk to me about
interminable airports and hotels and conference rooms. Yes. I remember conference rooms in Hawaii at the university.
Oh, you take me right back there. Thank you.
It was nice.
Onwards and upwards. Well, the beauty of this is that I'm now sort of wandering around my office in my home without having to expend a huge amount of energy, and I'm able to be an advisor, consultant, participant, friend, and contributor to any community that wants to put community money together at any level. What are you talking about? A business network? Are you talking about a community investment model?
Let's talk about Free Cycle.
Okay, Free Cycle. Now, free cycle is
like what I was thinking about with free cycle, right? We got people that use free cycle are some of them are quite religious about free cycle, right? So it's all free. It has to be free. There's nothing else but free. And then on the other side, you've got the buy and sell network, where it's all money. Okay.
Right.
What we offer is in that range in between, money that enables people to give and get, and also give freely.
Yeah, we offer monies in a very plural way. We offer measures, even better, because one of the ways that we'll no doubt see free cycle operating is in different forms of, excuse me, what? No, you can't. No, you can't. Yeah. Excuse me, I've got to regroup myself here.
Okay.
There's an interruption in the household. Different forms of measure. I've got it.
Yes.
The open money allows you not just to count in dollars or hours. It also allows you to rank, to say in this order, A, B, C, D, and E, or like John, more than Fred, more than Mary, or something like that. You're just ranking, because you can attribute to entities in your community, persons in your community, whatever, a scoring. So, for instance, in free cycle, there may be people who would never touch money. They have declared that they're ardent free cyclers. Well, who's the best free cycler in this community? Who's the greatest givers? Who are happiest at having received?
Way for people on free cycle to acknowledge each other's contributions.
Exactly.
To recognize to the community of free cyclers.
Yeah, to be saying thanks, evidently, and perhaps personally, perhaps anonymously. I mean, there could be ways of acknowledging people's contribution that didn't say where the acknowledgments had come from.
And didn't take up space on the e-group itself.
Yeah,
people they just want to read, they just want to know what's being offered and where it is, and they don't want the chatter, right? They don't want people saying thank you for this and thank you for that.
No, that just clutters things, and nobody wants clutter. What people want is something that must be very easy and simple and matter of fact, and once you've done it once or twice, you can do it for the rest of your life without having to think about it. If you remember, we used to have to go through the bill, make for instance, a bill payment. Paying your hydro, your phone bill or something, envelopes, checks, ding, 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 it went into the mail, it came through, it went to the place, they deposited it, they cleared it, the bank did this, all this stuff that went on that took time and we were part of and we took it for granted. And nowadays, an awful lot of our bill paying is click on the account, click on this, click on that, done. It's just all very simple. Well, we have a facility that allows people to, with a simple click to a simple site, account in as many different little networks as they want, or big networks, using dollars in this one, virtual dollars, community dollars, using virtual hours and maybe a neighborhood one, using a ranking, a preferenda type system for a bunch of propositions before the community council or something. Who knows? I mean, there's so many ways of polling, there's so many ways of counting, there's so many ways of tracking. What we offer in open money is just a simple way to group all those processes into one, to measure, to be metrics. So if you go to something like Free Cycle, where some people are going to be very committed to only participating in a straight free cycle, we're no problem for them, and they can still use, if they choose, some of the open money facilities to recognize the quality of their communities. They can just use it. Those that want to. Those that don't, will never will. No harm done. And then there will be the people who say, there's some things I'm happy to put through free cycle. There's other things I want something back for. In fact, I think I'd like something back because it makes me feel more like putting things out, you know? Things come and go.
And if you're on the edge, if you're living on the edge, which, a lot of people are, right? It's like giving something away that you can get some money for is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. And if the money you get by this route is an ethical money, a community money, a circular money, a contributed
one
money.
that you know is going to keep going around and around and around.
Yeah. A money that isn't taking anything from anybody else. You take conventional money from somebody, you've taken something, and they're short of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you take community money from somebody, and you're just getting in the dance, both of you. It's a to and fro process. And they just breathe out, you just breathe in. Next thing happen,
hence the generosity, the feeling of being generous. I mean, I think that in itself would lighten the load considerably.
Oh, yeah. People have fun. We've seen this everywhere, that there's been a comfortable, smooth, unoverheaded system. People get into it and have fun. Now that fun doesn't.
You mean the board committee kind of system?
Yeah. As soon as it starts becoming a task, a serious bit of, we're going to have meetings, there are rules that must be enforced, created, ducked and avoided and bent. As soon as that starts, it's not easy to keep the joy and the vitality going. No, at this point. And in due course, there will be so much more joy and vitality that people won't need the committees. They won't even think of them. Well,
and in fact, a free cycler anywhere who wanted to set up a community currency for a subset of free cyclers in their community can simply go online and create one, like creating an e-group at Google or Yahoo. I mean, you create a currency and you invite people on free cycle. This is free after all, right? You can say on free cycle, I've just created
offering you free money.
Well, no,
I'm giving away free
come and join. Come and get an account in this network.
When you think about it, the person who makes an invitation on free cycle is saying to the community, I'm giving away free money for free, and the thing that makes it free is it's your money I'm giving you.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's fairly good. Yeah. Oh boy. Tipping point.
The possibilities are quite. I mean, we're going to see some very, very strange incarnations of these ideas.
Florid. It's going to be like one of these fractal generators, because this is a fractal situation. We're releasing a sort of a viral information process. Viral in the sense that it's contagious and positively engaging, so it grows on itself. It's information, so it costs nothing to deploy, and there's no time lag in the deployment of the core virus. It's not like we have to go out and build something. It's here. You get it. So everybody can be up to date all the time. I mean, obviously different levels of assimilation or attention, but the rate at which this thing can go out is quite extraordinary.
Well, I'm thinking right now of the networks on MySpace and Facebook and Google and Yahoo, any one of whom, and the
Internet.
Sorry, what?
And the Internet.
And the Internet, yes.
Ultimately, it's the Internet, or it's the communication medium, and there will be something soon, I'm sure, that will replace the Internet as we know it with another superordinate or deeper layer, you put it, but it won't be the same IP system, but it will be faster, bigger, wider, whatever. So the communication fabric is the issue, ultimately. Now, the thing about MySpace, Facebook, is that they've come closest so far to providing vehicles that people can understand or experience as pure community building. Facebook particularly, it's a festival of its own stuff, of course. It's a very recursive medium. What is Facebook about? It's about people getting connected. And that's it. Connect for what? Who cares? They get connected. It's a connection medium. And
which is what open money is.
Yeah, open money.
Only connect. Yeah, that's the original Let's line. Only connect.
Well, it was E.M. Forster's original line.
Was it?
Yeah, we've used it all the way through. Only connect. E.M. Forster. Google that. Anyway, the difference perhaps is that in Facebook you have a systemic connectivity that says we connect by affinity so that something will happen. Something's going to happen if we all connect by affinity. What's your affinity? Well, we're all in the same high school class, or we all like red hats, or we all, so you join an affinity set in the expectation that that affinity process will lead to something. That might do something. Like an affinity set for a meetup in downtown New York. So you all join this thing and know that you're all going to meet up in downtown New York on Friday, because that's what the group process is. But most of them are just, hey, hello, hi, ho, hey. That sort of level of, we're connected, yahoo, yippee. So, now what? Now, open money came to the community of networking from a different place. It came from the necessity to have action and what facilitated the action. Our problem was that we had things we needed to do and we could not do them because we thought we had no money. Our solution was when we saw that we did have money. And then we have that money, then we can form these circulating networks, these energetic recycling systems, if you like, community currencies, mutual credit systems, the LET system, the time bank. These are mutual credit, float, roundabout, closed loop, patterning systems. And they make things happen. That's the bottom line. That's what they're for. Now, we've come to that make it happen from the sense of what is the sort of the life force of a community. What is it that enables? Life force is wrong. What is the connective quality of a community that enables its life force to be expressed? Whereas Facebook has come to it from, gee, here's a bunch of people scattered all over the internet. We have ways to give them clustering. We can let them cluster. Why? For what? Who knows? Who cares? We don't know. But look, we can cluster. And that's really what Facebook and those social networking sites are. They're just, oh, look at my cluster. What about your cluster? How many friends have you got? How many LinkedIn references and so on? What's your reputation score in your Digit or your whatever, Now, we've come at it from a totally different direction. And it's the realization of that's a marriage between the structural communications that are already created in Facebook. There are millions of communities. I don't know if millions is right, I haven't checked. There's loads of communities in Facebook who are instantly eligible to be open money users. They're already a clustering, a networking, a self-referential, self-learning group. Because groups learn by their interaction who they are, what they're doing. Autopoiesis. I won't say that again. You can look it up. Autopoiesis. There's too many O's and E's in there. Is that what it is? Good. The self-learning organism.
We should just do a check-in. Just let people know. If somebody's got a podcast of this, they might want to know this is Open Money on Blog Talk Radio.
It'll be in the file name that they're reading.
Well, they might.
Without knowing where it came from.
I don't know. It's on a disc, and they've got it in their car.
I tell you, if you're too dumb to know what you're listening to, go away. How about that? Is that a station call-in? This is long-tail broadcasting.
Long-tail broadcasting is good. I like.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, anyway, I was thinking there that
you were thinking.
I was thinking that monetizing yourselves, the group that you were way back 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
that system?
That's right. And that was out of necessity.
Yep.
And from the ground up.
Yep.
And it's 25 years later, and we're talking about communities in cyberspace, as well as communities in... Did you envision that in the beginning?
No. Internet, the connective capacities of computers I had not appreciated at this stage. This was 82, and I saw them as an instrument of empowerment in the sense that it would let people and individuals and small businesses and communities do what the big businesses did. Payrolls, publishing, things like that. That I understood in the early 80s. Because I've been working with computers since the 60s. Technically, the beginning of the 60s, 62. So I was aware of what computers could do then. I was aware of what computers could do in the early 80s when the microcomputers were just beginning to crack the surface. And so I thought they were great, but I didn't see what the network of computers would be. I didn't appreciate just how significant was the quality of interconnectivity. I think I was still thinking in terms of hierarchies like telephone networks and area codes and things like that, where you're always going up through various levels of controlled hardware towards other equivalent organizations and then down through them to your target. And that the connective frame like the internet could happen had never really occurred to me. But I did, and so I was also thinking in terms of the monetary models quite similarly at that stage. I thought that each community would be a sort of closed network, sort of a membership thing. We talked about boundaries. We talked about if you wanted your community to be part of a global thing, then you had to have your community be an entity in a global net system or a regional one or something. So there was a lot of representational stuff and a lot of structure that bothered me until about 85, 86, when we realized that there was no need for that, and that indeed the incorporation in any form was only to be done as a necessity for other reasons. It had nothing to do with the functioning of the currency. Currencies can function far better without any forms of formality or incorporation than they can once you put that there. Now, you may need a form of incorporation if you're looking at a housing trust or a joint venture of some sort, or some high value trading network, say something that was dealing in commercial real estate in your downtown city center. There will be currency systems specifically for the developers to play their monopoly games in their virtual world and our real one. That phone rings. think it has been caught. Back contract circulate. We got it going because we needed to.
Yeah, on the ground, and now in cyberspace with the internet, and how easy and how huge and complex that idea is.
Well, and yet so simple. I don't know if you remember one of those cartoons. Probably it was in Yellow Submarine or something, where everything had gone grey, and then the forces of good came back, and everything became colorful. Remember that? Something like that. There was a movie as well, Happy Land or something, about it. It took place in black and white until somebody turned the lights on effect, and the colors came in. Well, it's the same sort of thing, that open money can relate to almost anything that hard money can. It doesn't do armaments. It won't do exploitation, contract killings, things like that. That won't work very well with open money. Sorry about that. But almost everything else will. Capital investment will.
Michael, have you noticed that we have out there, or someone by the name of Mill is listening and says we're very clear. Where are you?
Where am I?
No, not you.
Or where's Mill?
Mill. Anyway, sorry, Michael, I interrupted you once again. But that's so exciting that there's somebody actually listening.
Listening to the live broadcast? Yes, this is.
That's right.
A moment of transformation.
Yes, a moment of transformation.
We've become real. When do we apply for the Oscars? Excuse me. Back to the task at hand.
Long tail. This is the beginning of the long tail.
Yeah, you see, like the first lead systems and prior versions of mutual currencies, mutual credit currencies and so on, were formed out of specific necessity in specific places for specific purposes, And so it was a solution that emerged from a need. It was a technology that came from the grassroots, from the ground, from the reality and requirement. And now we're looking out at a myriad of so-called communities, which are at different levels of reality of function and purpose. I don't consider a Facebook community to be unreal just because it's operating in virtual space. I consider it to be real or unreal according to its activity. What does it do? What is it playing with? Well, we can now offer that group a virtually infinite collection of tools to reflect upon their own processes, to account for themselves, to record their appreciation of each other's activities, to buy and sell used gear or memorabilia or whatever. Whatever the game is in that community, if there's anything that conventional money can do, this stuff can do it as well. And there's a million things this stuff can do that conventional money can't. And here's all these communities. So, who's up for Facebook? Who's on first? That's the question. Now, what they're going to do with it, a lot of it is going to be crazy. A lot of it's going to be erratic. A lot of it's going to be fanciful. A huge amount of these initial trials will flourish for at least 20 minutes or less. That is to say, I might have a great idea, propose it in my network, and find that nobody thinks it's a great idea at all except me. In fact, I may have changed my mind already about that one, so that was an idea, and it ain't anymore. So that's going to happen a lot. And some people will try to be clever. Some people will fail to be attentive. Some people will feel they have been burned. Quite probably some people will be burned. Do not involve yourself in any pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, whatever in this business. Open money is not it's not a way to get rich quick. And if you find somebody advocating that, then slide away. Don't get involved. This money is only worth what you can get for it, and if you're dealing with idiots, you'll get idiots. Bear that in mind.
I will.
How are we doing?
I'll do that.
We have 15 minutes to run now.
Yes.
Now, do we need to be more specific, do you think? Do we need to tell people the details? Do they need to be...
Well, sure. Why not?
All right, then. If you want the details,
what details are you thinking of, anyway?
Well, I'm basically thinking of how many things can somebody do with open money?
Well, how many things?
Yeah, like what's the variety of options? And the best place to discuss that at this point would be openmoney.editme.com, because we have there a series of pages that are designed to induce conversation, text conversation, which can lead to voice talk, of course. And there's a page on there, and I'm not even going to tell you where it is, because if you can't find it, you're not trying very hard. There's a page on there about how to do this, what can do it, what's in it for you. Think of 20 ways to use community currencies. Think of 20 tribes you're in. In each of those tribes, think of half a dozen ways that the relations between the membership might be enhanced if there was some form of recording, scoring, acknowledging, recording of exchange.
Speaking of tribes, Burning Man. There's a tribe.
There's a bunch of tribes, a whole bunch of tribes. Fascinating situation. And I don't even know when Burning Man is, you know. Evidently, it's not my tribe. I've not yet found a sense of affinity with that group as such, any more than I've found a sense of affinity with LinkedIn, or even with eCademy, although I spent quite a lot of time working with eCademy, and will do again. Affinity is... But
the point that I was making about Burning Man, right, is that there is a tribe, and that tribe can have many currencies. I mean, for each of the Burning Man events, they can have their own currency and continue it after the event, and have an overall Burning Man currency that everybody could, anybody that's all part of the tribe.
Burning Man can be an ongoing event. It can be a process with continuity that is marked by annual gatherings on the site, in the space, in the time. But that which it is may persist more effectively and may grow more productively, more fruitfully, more powerfully if it's not just a couple of weeks every year. If it's also, for some people, a persistent context within which their burning identity, their burning self, can be burning others at the same time.
So somebody who's listening to this says, "Oh, wow, cool! I'm going to do that. I'm going to start a Burning Man money right now.
Oh.
Where do I go?"
Well, they will go to openmoney.info, and on openmoney.info they will be directed to the operating servers, the identity servers that will allow them to open account systems. That's the trick. And it'll be there in about 3 weeks. We will have a site up there that says, come here, get your names, get your accounts, name yourselves. Because that's really the key in it, is if you're going to be participating in this sort of global and local and real and virtual set of communities, you have to have identities. I can't just send money to you over there. I've got to send it to Ernie at this address. You've got like a bank account number, you've got to have a community currency, accounts, plural, identification numbers. Except we don't like numbers, so we're using names. So it'll look an awful lot like an email address, very much like
and they will be authentic.
And most of them will be authenticated. That is why we're going for graphic. That if somebody wants in Oshkosh Bigosh, which I think is Wisconsin, I will be corrected if I'm wrong. But if then we would declare under the U.S. Context registry domain, the Wisconsin registry context domain, synonymous words for the name group.
Let's do something easier. Let's do Ithaca.
Ithaca.ny.us. Now, at the beginning, somebody who says, I want to start Ithaca Currencies would say, your name is Fred? Well, you can be Fred of Ithaca.ny, the state designation, .us, the national designation. And when there's 20 of you who are also .ithaca.ny.us, you might want to take on the management of them.
Sorry, what was that, Michael? I missed that. The arrangement of what?
Well, we don't want to be trying to control, try and control a namespace from the top down, space of this magnitude. Especially namespaces as all authentication processes. That it's not an easy place for people to hide fraud. It's got to be easy to build strong reputation and have that reputation be transferable. And this means that if my name is MWL of CV.ca, if my account name is that, then I don't want that the CV.ca domain becomes associated with spam artists, pornographers, fraud merchants, Ponzi schemes. You know, it'd be like if your email is the same as one of the spam generators, then you find yourself blacklisted all over the place. So in the same way with a monitoring network, I don't want to be sharing the namespace, which is my home of identity, comotsvalley.bc or something, you know, my own baseline, does not want to be polluted with junk. So if I and others within my community are taking on the responsibility for the authenticity of the names in our group, that somehow or other we all know each other or know people who know each other or know that we live here, that's why we are of this namespace. That authentication can be handled much more easily and responsibly at a local level than it can be from on high. So we have to delegate the name spacing. Now, prior to delegating the name spacing,
Michael, hold on. There's only 6 minutes left. There's only 6 minutes left. And rather than go deeper into the name space, maybe that's what we should do on Monday. We should talk about, we should maybe continue this conversation on Monday and wrap this one up in some kind of a nice wrapper.
Then, for great excitement, come back on Monday for the namespace, or else jump to the next call in this sequence. So, what are we going to talk about?
I've lost.
No, that's
Michael,
you've lost.
Are you still there? I'm losing you.
I think I am, but nothing seems to be. You're losing me? Am I still there?
Yeah, no, this is just on Skype, and it's probably just fine on the radio, so just keep on. It's just so that you know that I lost you for a moment or two there.
Oh, well, such excitement.
Well, you're fine now. Anyway, so 5 minutes remaining, and we've pretty well covered the topic, I'd say. Don't you think? We talked about MySpace, Facebook, Google, monetizing, free cycle.
I would rather say that rather than covering the topic, it's too big a topic to be detailed, characterized, categorized, described anyway. What we've got to do is just take the lid off it and say, there they are. What currency did you want? Sure. You can have it. Just come and get it. It's not so much for us to push, oh look, try this, oh look, try that. Because if we're putting out this, try that to many people, well, it's not very well. So I think our task, we the meme providers and you the eager listeners, is to be eager. Is to be sort of saying, wow, this sounds interesting. What things can I do with it? And start exploring that. And that's why I mentioned the editme.com site, openmoney.editme.com, because that's where you start to show up. That and the Let's Play game. If you're not there, and if you're not doing the Let's Play game, you're not serious. Honestly, you are not. So look at the openmoney.editme.com site and start thinking and start feeding back. Because the only way you'll get your questions answered is by getting deeper into your questions. You've got to start looking at this. It's an exploration. And it's not our job to make it easy for you by spoon-feeding you, because you will reject most of it. Far better for you to get hungry and go looking. So get excited about this. Open money is a huge opportunity. And the opportunity becomes real about the time you recognize it as such. So that'll do for me for today. I'm going to
you're cutting out
coffee.
There's
I think
3 minutes left. What are you doing?
I'm maintaining the markets. Scarcity
3 minutes.
rules.
There's 3 minutes remaining. Okay, fine. You want to go? Go.
I'll go. You can whistle a happy song. You can tell tunes. You can, and I'll leave you happily. And
I could
pick it up
dance.
on Monday.
I could dance.
Dance. Yes. Ernie, the amazing dancing bear.
Okay, so we'll pick it up on Monday at what? Are you okay for 10 o'clock on Monday?
Probably, but if not, it'll be later.
That's right. Okay. We do tend to shift this thing from time to time. Okay. See you, Michael.
Bye, Ernie.
So this is it. 2 minutes remaining on Open Money at Blog Talk Radio. I'm Ernie Jacob. It was Michael Linton who just left and left me to finish this off in some useful fashion. And thank you, Mill. Is it Mill or Millie? Yeah, Millie was listening to some of this, and we appreciate that. It's good to get some feedback. And come back and talk again, or visit, or whatever. And so I've put our email addresses up on the chat if anybody wants to connect with us after the show. I'm Ernie at openmoney.org, and Mile, it's Italian. Mile. Wow. Hello, Mile. It's good to get this feedback. This is the first time we've had this kind of feedback via the chat on Blog Talk, so it's useful for us to do this. I've got 1 minute remaining. I'm going to be out of here for 1,000 flowers. Mille Fiori for 1,000 flowers. It's a beautiful name. Bye, Mille. Good to talk to you. So that's it. I'm signing off for Open Money on Blog Talk Radio. Come back again on Monday. We're doing it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in the mornings, usually around 10 o'clock. And we're going to be talking about namespaces and open money and community currencies, let systems, mutual credit systems, all those kinds of things, I guess. And the simplest form is the mutual credit system, where all accounts start at 0 and you go negative and you go positive. You buy, you sell, you give, you get. So thanks for listening in, and that's it. I'm out of here. My name's Ernie Jacob, And this is Open Money on Blog Talk Radio with 11 seconds remaining. Listening.